Buddhists.
Namaskar and welcome to Midday Prime. This afternoon we'll be going in depth into the coronavirus concern that has been raised after this new virus is slowly spreading from China's Wuhan. The WHO will be meeting later today to decide whether it causes a public health emergency. India too is on alert. Let's begin with the headlines. The Supreme Court refused...
Headlines is sponsored by Wonder Cement. एक perfect शुरुआत.
The Supreme Court refuses to put on hold operation of CAA for the time being. Says that they will not grant any stay without hearing the centre. Gives 4 weeks' time to the government to file a reply. Union ministers continue to visit Jammu and Kashmir. Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi interacts with people at Lal Chowk in Srinagar. Naqvi says that we are working to create a strong environment of change. The Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat reviews the development projects in Jammu. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh says that children of Jammu and Kashmir are nationalists just like any other children, but they are sometimes being motivated in the wrong direction. The Raksha Mantri also gave away the RM Padak and commendation cards to deserving NCC cadets. President Ramnath Kovind presents the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar. The awards felicitate meritorious children, individuals and institutions of the country and is given in 2 categories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair the 32nd interaction through Pragati platform today. In the previous 31 interactions of Pragati, projects worth over 12 lakh crore rupees have been reviewed by the Prime Minister. All preparations as per the schedule for Gaganyaan. The ISRO has said that 4 astronauts shortlisted for the mission will go to Russia for training soon. ISRO also unveils a prototype of the humanoid which will go on trial before Gaganyaan goes with astronauts. The death toll in China's coronavirus goes up to 9. The total in cases have also risen to 440. The US has confirmed its first case of coronavirus. The WHO calls an emergency meeting. 7 Indian airports, including Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, make arrangements for screening of passengers from China. The third impeachment trial of a US president in US history continues. The Republican senators vote to block the motion requiring the White House to produce documents related to Trump's dealings with Ukraine. All eyes on the finals of weightlifting, swimming, football and boxing on the last day of the Khelo India Youth Games 2020. The closing ceremony in Guwahati to be attended by the Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju and the Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal.
Headlines was sponsored by Wonder Cement. एक perfect शुरुआत.
So let's begin with the big story, and that is about the new virus that has killed 9 people. It could mutate and spread further. Chinese health officials have warned about the virus as they step up containment measures. Now, China's National Health Commission and related departments yesterday had launched a joint prevention and control working mechanism to deal with the epidemic situation of this novel coronavirus. There are now about 440 confirmed cases of the outbreak that originated from the market in Wuhan and has now spread to several Chinese provinces and is also a few other countries of the world. Authorities admitted that China was now at the most critical stage of prevention and control. Well, the Wuhan authorities have introduced extra controls on people entering and leaving the city. Wuhan officials have been using infrared thermometers to screen the passengers at airports, railway stations and other passenger terminals since January 14. And in the wake of the outbreak of an infection caused by this new strain of virus affecting China, thermal cameras were installed at pre-immigration areas of the 7 identified airports of India. Airline staff, though, also are bringing the passengers to the health counters before the immigration check. Earlier, the Civil Aviation Ministry directed the 7 airports, including Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, to make arrangements for screening of passengers arriving from China in the wake of the outbreak of an infection caused by a new strain of a virus there. Now, airlines flying in from any airport in China, including that of Hong Kong, have been asked to make in-flight announcements requesting the passengers with a history of fever and cough and also travel to Wuhan city in the past 14 days to self-declare at the port of arrival in order to facilitate early isolation. So let's get a clearer understanding of this of coronavirus. What exactly is coronavirus? Coronavirus explained. Coronaviruses are enveloped viruses with positive sense single-strand RNA genome. They are single-strand RNA genome, and the genome size ranges from 26 to 32 kilobases, the largest for RNA viruses. So this is a large RNA-based virus. The coronaviruses are primarily, they infect the upper respiratory and the gastrointestinal tracts of both mammals and birds. So those are the species that are affected by the coronaviruses. Currently, there are 7 known strains of the coronaviruses that infect humans, and among them, the most widely publicized are 2 or 3. We know of SARS coronavirus, the severe acute respiratory syndrome virus. It started in 2003, and over 8,000 people were infected by it, about 10% of whom died. So that was SARS. Then there was MERS, which stood for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome coronavirus, and that's also known as the novel coronavirus 2012 or HCoV-EMC. And this is as of December 2019. There were 2,468 cases reported from the beginning, from 2012 to then, of the MERS, and this is confirmed by laboratory tests. But it has a pretty high fatality rate, 851 of which were fatal, a mortality rate of approximately 34.5% of MERS. So it's a much more deadly virus than SARS, at least in terms of fatalities. Now, what's happened with the current virus, which is the virus that has affected Wuhan, the Wuhan coronavirus, which is the 31st of December, in fact, a total of 440 people have been confirmed with the infection, of which 9 have so far died. So it spread pretty fast since the 31st of December. Now, the WHO has said that this is a new strain of virus. It's not something that has been seen before, so that's why we have to be careful about it. The WHO is meeting today to see if it is a public health emergency. So that basically is what it is. India, of course, is also on alert. Now, apart from what coronavirus is, let's look at some of the symptoms, because all of us can only identify the virus from the symptoms. The symptoms are pretty much like any other cold: headache, sneezing, runny nose, cough, sore throat, fever. We could have this pretty much. How would we identify whether it is the coronavirus from Wuhan? Fever leading to exacerbated asthma, fatigue. These are also some of the symptoms of the disease. Sometimes it causes pneumonia and bronchitis. So in some cases it can, because there are certain categories of people who are prone to get those, they can even get it from a common cold actually. But what should we do to prevent it? We should wash our hands regularly, because that's important. Keep a safe distance as well while coughing and sneezing, so that the saliva doesn't fly too far. And also cover your mouth and your nose, even if you have a regular cold. Properly cooked. If you're a non-vegetarian, you must cook your meat and your eggs as well as possible, properly cooked, so that whatever virus is there is killed in the process. Now, avoid contact with people with respiratory illnesses. That's pretty natural. Keep a safe distance from people who have colds and coughs. Take proper rest and avoid excessive exertion. So that's also important. Drink enough water, be hydrated. This is also very important. Avoid smoking and areas with smoke, because naturally the smoke is also carrying around that virus. Now, normal medication to relieve colds is all that you can do right now, because there's no real cure. And use humidifiers or cool mist vaporizers. So that's other areas of prevention. How is the coronavirus spread? It's an infection that can spread like a common cold through the air. That has been confirmed. It can be spread from human to human. Now, shaking hands with infected persons can pass the virus. That's perhaps the easiest way. So you should be careful when you're shaking hands. That's why you should wash your hands regularly. Contact with an object that has the virus. Now, this is also something that, where people use, let's say, areas where they have networking systems like, computer keyboards, where another person has sat there before you and the virus could be there. You use the same keyboard and then you touch your nose, eyes and mouth. You've got the virus. That's the way it goes. So coronavirus rarely spreads through contact with feces. That's some hope that, it rarely spreads, but it can spread because it can affect the intestinal tract as well. Now, the spread of the virus so far, China has 440 confirmed cases, but it has moved. It has moved from China. Thailand has 2 cases, 2 confirmed cases in Thailand. There are also 1 or 2 confirmed cases. There's 1 case confirmed in Japan. There's also a case confirmed in the United States, 1 in South Korea, in fact. Yes, South Korea has 1 confirmed case. There's 1 case confirmed in the United States. And there's also a suspected case in Australia. So it has spread quite fast since, even though there's screening that's taking place at airports. So let's try and understand about the coronavirus with our guest in the studio, Professor Balram Bhargava, who's the Secretary in the Department of Health Research and also the DG of ICMR is with us in the studio. Thanks very much, Dr. Bhargav. Let's first understand, are we looking at something quite dangerous? Should we be alarmed?
Well, I think we very clearly know that the coronavirus family has 6 viruses and this seems to be the 7th one.
Yes.
And out of those 6, 2 have been shown to be quite aggressive in terms of the SARS and the MERS, which had a high case fatality rate from anywhere between 10 to 30%. However, having said that, this virus that has been not yet been isolated but is being described as a separate virus, we have confirmed cases of 440 with only 9 deaths. So the mortality rate is less than about 2%. From that perspective, I don't think we need to be that hugely worried about it. Having said that, it is a new virus, so we need to be careful. We do not know how it is going to behave and how it is going to spread, but currently, from what we understand, it is probably not as bad as the SARS and the MERS that have been described with high mortality in the past.
But Dr. Bhargav, a common man will simply say that there's no cure for the common cold as well, and much of those common colds are also caused by one of the 6 coronaviruses, isn't it?
Sure.
So, I mean, could this also fall into one of those categories you're describing? Perhaps the fatality rate is not as high as we understand, because the virus was discovered on the 31st of last month, and 9 deaths since then out of 440 cases doesn't seem to be very high.
Yes, exactly. That's the point that I would like to emphasize, and therefore allay the fear and the paranoia in the society at large that this is a new virus. Yes, there is no treatment for it. Yes, there is no vaccine or no antibodies, monoclonals to treat it. But at the same time, it doesn't have that high a case fatality rate as has been described for earlier viruses of the MERS and the SARS.
So MERS and SARS as well, they didn't really affect India, did they?
They didn't really affect India, but we did have a panic, and we did have a lot of worry. In a way it was good, because we've established a lot of our systems in place, and I can speak particularly for my department, the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Department of Health Research. We have now a full pyramid where we have 105 viral research laboratories in 105 medical colleges. We have about 30 BSL-3 or the Biosafety 3 labs on top of that, and then we have the Apex BSL-4 or the Biosafety Lab 4, the first in the Asia at the National Institute of Virology at Pune, and we have full capability to diagnose this virus in India, and no samples have to be sent out of this country for diagnosis. Till 2008-2009 we didn't have this infrastructure in place, and therefore for diagnosis of these kind of diseases the samples had to be sent to CDC Atlanta, and now the capacity has been built in India, and we do have the capability to clearly diagnose this.
So, would neighboring countries also be looking at our expertise since we have this expertise at hand?
Absolutely, that's a very, very valid point, and in fact over the last few years we have been providing capacity and training for countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Bhutan, and also helping set up their BSL-3 labs, Biosafety 3 labs, and providing technical support and full capacity to the. In fact, with the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Department of Health Research and the WHO, we have made a research platform which is regional enabler for Southeast Asia regional collaboration on health, and that is all 10 countries of the Southeast Asia region have met at Delhi twice in 2019, and this platform is looking at capabilities and sharing capacity to fight these kind of viruses. And this research platform was built out of the Nipah outbreak, which happened in 2018 and 2019, and which was fabulously handled by the Ministry of Health and the Kerala government, and partly helped by the Department of Health Research as well, so that we were able to tackle it, and that was much appreciated by the region. And so we are now working in the region to help build capacity and a measure of soft diplomacy of India.
Right, but the concerns that perhaps one could have for a country like ours is the size of our population, and the speed with which it could actually spread if a virus can reach an epidemic proportion. Of course, we have the ability to contain it. Also, in terms of our own immunity towards such viruses, in terms of our race, perhaps, or perhaps in terms of the number of viruses that already exist, and Indians have built some sort of immunity towards it. Are we, as people, quite immune to these kind of illnesses?
I think I do not have any data to support that, but clearly as Indians we are more exposed to these pathogens right from early childhood. We are therefore develop a better immunity and an immune response rather than a totally hygienic, absolutely aseptic condition of living throughout life. Some amount of exposure to these kind of situations is important to build the immunity. Having said that, it is the extremes of age, very young small children, very elderly people who are in renal failure or liver failure or heart failure, who are immunocompromised, are the people who need to be taken special care of when we are looking at their immune capability to handle these.
So you talk about immunocompromised. There are also, people with lifestyle illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, and we also live in Delhi, which at least talking about the people who live in Delhi, which has high levels of pollution for much of the year, and that affects the respiratory tract itself. So I mean, you're already down with some sort of respiratory problems because of the area in which you live. How much of a strain does that cause on the immune system, and how likely is one to catch an infection like this based on that?
I think it's both ways. With some infections happening, our immune system becomes stronger. Having said that, we are repeatedly getting these infections, and therefore we can have more of these respiratory problems because of repeated infections, because the air pollution and other issues still remain a huge big problem. So it's a delicate balance.
So the WHO is meeting to decide whether this is a public health emergency. I mean, judging by what you've said, you don't think it is a public health emergency as of yet.
Well, it is a public health emergency because it is a new virus.
Okay.
From that perspective, yes. But from this last 22 days, we have seen only 9 mortality, and the case fatality rate is very low. So, and the Chinese government has tackled it quite well. From that perspective, I would say we would not be that much worried.
Right. Now, you know, I mean, this is what some reports suggest, that, you know, the data put out by the Chinese is not adequately proven. It may not be statistically correct as what people say. I mean, if the figures are much higher, what is the cause of, I mean, is that a cause of much concern?
Definitely, if the figures are much higher, we would be definitely far more concerned. But having said that, that does not mean that we have to be lax or we have to be over cautious. We have to maintain a certain level of alert. We have to maintain a certain level of caliber within the country in terms of being prepared for it.
Right.
Taking quarantine measures of people returning from those areas, and also isolating the people who have returned from those areas and are positive. But we have not yet tested anyone positive. But more important, we have to remember that by the thermal screening and other facilities that have been provided by the Ministry of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Health, the WHO, the IDSP, the ICMR, they're all working closely together. So from that perspective, the thermal screening will be able to help in screening people who are having fevers. Wow. And I think the government is working in the right direction. Yet at the same time, we do not want to create a fear and a paranoia in the society, more so because in India we have people of all ethnic regions. We have Dravidians, Aryans, Mongoloids, and therefore we may land into certain issues of certain people from the northeast being isolated as Chinese, and those kind of sensitivities have to be in the society at large, and that is very, very important.
You bring up an important point, sir, but you know, also people have different food habits.
Exactly.
Not particularly in our country. Well, there is a lot. I mean, we're known for our cuisine. But you know, these kind of illnesses seem to be coming from places where, you know, people eat meats which are not fully cooked. In a sense, it's part of their usual food intake. Is that a cause of concern? And you know, I mean, could these viruses also, because people in our country eat vegetables are uncooked in a large way. Is that possible that it can be transmitted through vegetables?
No, it is from what we have data available, it has been isolated in an area where there was more of raw meat in Wuhan, and therefore we know that the raw meat is a very good culture medium for anything to grow, and therefore these viruses have been isolated from there. So and our habits are far different from that. So I think that is a huge advantage that we enjoy.
Okay, and would you say that, you know, considering we are now in the winter and people are getting colds because it's a pretty harsh winter, how would people, you know, try and differentiate really that, you know, they haven't got something that is more serious than just a common cold?
I think that's at this moment, no single case has been described in India, so I don't think that should be a cause of concern or worry at all till a single case has been isolated in this country.
Would you say that under the current circumstances in the world, because of climate change, perhaps there are going to be more illnesses spreading much faster, and, you know, institutions like yours which do research have to be geared up to face a lot of you know, unknown territory in a sense?
Absolutely, that's a very valid point. With climate change, with global warming, we are seeing more and more of these viruses and other parasites undergo mutation. They are also trying to become more and more aggressive, more and more responsive to the environment, and they are getting congenial environments for themselves to mutate. and develop in such a way that they can infect more aggressively.
Would you even consider, when things like this, when something is new, when people don't have cures, they could also be utilized in some form of biological weapons. Is that, some sort of concern that could also, taken from the security angle?
Absolutely. From the WHO blueprint of 9 viruses, we have these viruses as agents of bioterror, and that is why it is important that many countries, the low income and the middle income and the high income, all work together towards these agents particularly, and that was the major reason why we have established this regional research platform for the Southeast Asia region with India and with the Indian Council of Medical Research, Department of Health Research and the WHO, particularly to look at these kind of outbreaks and build capacity in the region, whether it be technical, whether it be manpower, whether it be facilities as such, physical infrastructure,
right,
and also system standard operating procedures for the same.
Dr. Bhargav, a final word from you. What would you like to tell the people of our country? Because, sometimes there's more panic than there should be. You've also told us already that we are geared up to deal with any such illness if it comes. But, also apart from that, certain precautions that people need to take, you as a medical practitioner, so that people can be well prepared, because being alert is the best way to prevent this kind of an
Absolutely,
illness.
being alert is the best way, but one has to be very clear that there's no fear and panic at the moment.
Yes.
There is not a single case that has been diagnosed in India. We do not have any evidence that we have this disease yet in our country. Having said that, we also know that the case fatality rate of this disease is not that high, but time will tell further. We also have to remember that we do not have to create a fear and paranoia in our society, because a common cold and fever is a common problem. Having said that, and you've already talked about in your channel that if you have a common cold and a fever, washing hands before shaking hands with someone, doing a namaskar is probably
yes,
better than shaking hands if you have a cold. And those are some minor precautions which, if the society at large take, I think will go a long, long way.
Well, Dr. Balram Bhargava, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
So moving on to our next story then, the Supreme Court has given the centre 4 weeks to respond to pleas challenging the validity of the Citizenship Amendment Act, while making it clear that it will not grant any stay on the CAA without hearing the centre. A bench headed by Chief Justice S.A. Bobde said that it will hear the petitions pertaining to Assam and Tripura separately, as the problem with CAA in these 2 states is different from the rest of the country. The Attorney General K.K. Venugopal, appearing for the centre, told the bench that the government has been given copies of around 60 pleas only out of the 144 pleas. So he said that the government wants time to respond to the pleas which have not been served on it. The senior advocate Kapil Sibal urged the bench to put on hold the operation of CAA and to postpone the exercise of the National Population Register for the time being. The court said that it will not grant any stay on CAA without hearing the centre on the matter. The CAA seeks to grant citizenship to migrants belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Christian, Jain and Parsi communities who came to the country from Pakistan, from Bangladesh and Afghanistan on or before the 31st of December 2014. Now, as part of the government's initiative to spread awareness about central schemes in Jammu and Kashmir following the abrogation of Article 370, several union ministers are visiting the Union Territory to promote and disseminate information about the implementation of the policies and programs being made for its all-round development. The Union Minister for Minority Affairs, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, interacted with the people and shopkeepers at the Lal Chowk in Srinagar. Union Minister took time to talk to the people. He also said that the people are excited and that the atmosphere is positive, and the government is spreading this positivity among other people too by communicating with them. He added that the centre is working to create a strong environment of change.
लोगों में ज़बरदस्त एतमाद है, एक बहुत ही पॉजिटिव माहौल है और उस पॉजिटिव माहौल को और लोगों के बीच जाकर के लोगों के संपर्क के साथ, लोगों के संवाद के माध्यम से हम लोगों में और मजबूती के साथ जो बदलाव, बेहतरी के लिए बदलाव है, उसके माहौल को।
Meanwhile, the Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat also in fact attended a review meeting of the centrally sponsored schemes in the area.
इसीलिए हमारे का इशू था तो वो भी हमने सेकंड इंस्टॉलमेंट तो किया है और सर जो हमारी बढ़ती है।
बहुत सारे काम रुके हुए थे, अटके हुए थे, वर्षों से रुकी हुई परियोजनाएं हैं। आज हमने बैठ करके उन सारी परियोजनाओं को असेस किया है, उनके बारे में बात की है। कल अपने दौरे में धरातल पर जाकर जमीन पर काम करने वाले लोग, जो पंचायती राज व्यवस्था वापस रिस्टोर हुई है, उनसे लेकर के अन्य लोगों से भी इस बारे में चर्चा की है। यहाँ जो आज जिन विषयों पर बातचीत हुई है, जो जम्मू कश्मीर के लिए विशेष महत्व की परियोजनाएं हैं, उन सब में जो बॉटलनेक्स हैं, जो उनके सामने परेशानी आ रही है, उन सबको एक एक प्रोजेक्ट टू प्रोजेक्ट हमने डिस्कस किया है।
And he also said that by December 2021, portable tap water will reach all households in the territory.
जो एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम लिया है। हालांकि पिछले 6 महीने में जिस तरह से जम्मू कश्मीर में भारत सरकार की बनाई हुई योजनाओं का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में तेजी आई है, लेकिन मुझे विशेष प्रसन्नता इस बात की है कि जो हर घर तक जल पहुंचाने की स्कीम और जिसके लिए अंतिम तिथि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 2024 रखी थी, उसको जम्मू कश्मीर की सरकार ने, यहाँ की व्यवस्था ने उसको अपने लिए दिसंबर 2021 का टारगेट तय किया कि हम 2 साल में पूरा करेंगे।
The Union Minister of State for Home, G. Kishan Reddy, is also on a visit to Ganderbal in Jammu and Kashmir. He shared the stage with the local administration and interacted with the people there. Reddy also distributed pensioner cards to locals in Ganderbal.
को समान अवसर देश के लिए जो भारत सरकार, जम्मू कश्मीर सरकार अलग अलग कदम उठा रहे, वो जम्मू जनता के बीच में जाकर अवगत कराना हमारा फर्ज बनता है। इसलिए आप सब लोगों को मालूम है जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन कैसा हो, एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन के लिए सरकार, जम्मू कश्मीर का सरकार रोजगार देने के लिए विभिन्न कार्यक्रम को अवगत कराना और लोगों का इनकम कैसा बढ़े, फोकस है इकोनॉमिकल प्रोग्राम कैसा जम्मू कश्मीर में लागू करे, ये हमारे सामने बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है। इस पब्लिक आउटरीच कार्यक्रम में हम 2-2 दिन, 3-3 दिन घूमने के लिए, आप लोगों से मिलने के लिए आए हैं। मैं जब श्रीनगर को लगभग 15 साल पहले आया, 15 साल के बाद आज मैं श्रीनगर आया हूं। आप सब लोगों से इस गंदरबाल हमारे भाई बहनों से मिलने का मौका मिला है। मैं मानता हूं आज डेवलपमेंट के बारे में एक अच्छे कदम उठाना चाहिए। डेवलपमेंट के बारे में केंद्र सरकार जो लगभग इस 1 साल में, खासकर यूटी बनने के बाद नए कार्यक्रम इस 5 महीने में किया है। डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट संदर्भ में बातचीत करना, प्रधानमंत्री विकास का जो 80 करोड़ प्रोजेक्ट था, 80,000 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट जम्मू कश्मीर के विकास के बारे में प्रधानमंत्री आज अमल किया है, वो अमल भी हो रहे हैं। और पारदर्शी के साथ एक सुशासन ये सुनिश्चित करने के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी सरकार कटिबद्ध है। इसलिए आप सब लोगों से मैं अनुरोध करता हूं, ये जो कार्यक्रम, जो विकास का कार्यक्रम केंद्र सरकार ले रहे हैं, आप लोगों का उसमें पूरा सहयोग होना चाहिए। ये सहयोग होने के लिए मैं आपके बीच में आया हूं। जम्मू कश्मीर जो गवर्नर रूल आने के बाद, प्रेसिडेंट रूल आने के बाद, यूनियन टेरिटरी बनने के बाद आम जनता के सुविधा के लिए और विकास के लिए सभी परियोजनाओं में तेजी आई है। सम ऑफ दी मेन अचीवमेंट्स मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूं।
And union ministers including Ravi Shankar Prasad and Thawar Chand Gehlot will also visit Jammu and Kashmir today. The union minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will inaugurate all-women post office and parcel hub. In Jammu, Prahlad Singh will visit Udhampur. Kailash Chaudhary will go to Samba. Purushottam Rupala will visit Jammu. Thawar Chand Gehlot and Krishna Pal Gujjar will also visit Poonch. Renuka Singh will go to Udhampur. Sanjay Dhatre and Rao Sahib Patil will interact with the people in Rajouri, and Santosh Gangwar will visit Ramban. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has said that children of Jammu and Kashmir, they are nationalists, just like other children of the country, but they are sometimes motivated in the wrong direction. He said that the ones who are motivating them in the wrong direction are the real culprits. He was interacting with the press at the NCC Republic Day camp. The Raksha Mantri also gave away the Raksha Mantri Padak as well as the commendation cards to deserving cadets.
मैं मानता हूं जम्मू कश्मीर के बच्चे भी नेशनलिस्ट हैं, उनको दूसरे नजरिए से नहीं देखा जाना चाहिए। अब यह है कि नौजवान ही होता है, कभी कभी कुछ लोग उनको जिस तरीके से मोटिवेट करना चाहिए नहीं करते हैं, बल्कि गलत दिशा में मोटिवेट करते हैं। उसमें उस बच्चे को दोष नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए, नौजवान को दोष नहीं दिया जाना चाहिए। गलत मोटिवेशन देने वाले लोग इसके लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं, बच्चे रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं।
Raksha Mantri also said that India's defence forces are ever ready to tackle any threat to the nation's security.
जहां तक देश की सीमाओं का प्रश्न है, अपनी देश की सेना पर पूरा भरोसा रखिए, और आज दुनिया के किसी देश की वह ताकत नहीं है जो भारत की ओर आंख उठाकर देख सके। और किसी भी प्रकार के चैलेंजेस होंगे, उन चैलेंजेस का मुकाबला करने की ताकत हमारी फोर्स के अंदर है।
The BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra accused the Congress of using the CAA platform to abuse Hindus. Addressing the media, Sambit Patra said that the Congress leader Ashok Chavan had made an appeasing statement regarding Hindus. And he also slammed the party for polarizing Muslims in the country.
ये जो जहर देश में हिंदुओं के खिलाफ बोया जा रहा है, देश में सत्ता के खिलाफ बोया जा रहा है, मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ही दर्दनाक है। ये डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री है, आप किसी भी विषय पे प्रोटेस्ट कर सकते हैं, किंतु तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति के अंतर्गत एक धर्म पे अटैक करना, उनको जलील करना और क्रिमेशन की पद्धति पे अटैक करना, ये कहना कि हम केवल मुसलमानों को सोच के सरकार बनाते हैं, ये उचित नहीं है। सोनिया गांधी जी को माफी मांगनी चाहिए।
The ISRO chief K. Sivan has said that the first unmanned Gaganyaan mission is on track and is planned for the end of this year. The manned mission is planned for before August 15th, 2022. ISRO also unveiled the prototype of the humanoid, which will go on trial before Gaganyaan goes with astronauts. The humanoid speaks like a human.
An unmanned mission, the first unmanned mission we are planning by this end of this year. Sometimes it may spill over next year also. Second unmanned mission, that is after 6 months, then we will have the manned mission before 2022 August 15. That was our target, and we are working for that. The humanoid that we are going to have the scientific experiment, microgravity experiments also going to fly in this unmanned mission. That's going to simulate the human systems, so that under the human system, how the system will behave, that our environment control life support system, how it will behave. That way we are going to do it.
And Sivan told the media that 4 astronauts have been identified for mission Gaganyaan, and they will be going to Russia for training.
The 4 astronauts are shortlisted. They will be going for the training.
Only these 4, and out of which the 3 will go on in this.
That we'll decide. That maybe towards the end we'll decide how many people will fly and all. Because the first mission that usually people will be very cautious. Not only training, because many such things are there, like environment controls, life support system, life sciences. So many areas are there. Not only training. So like the medical training. Medical sciences, many such things are there. That's what we wanted to get training or support from different agencies, not only from Russia, JAXA, NASA.
And addressing a symposium on human spaceflight and exploration, present challenges and future trends, the ISRO chief said that Gaganyaan mission will enhance our scientific capabilities. He also said that Gaganyaan mission provides an opportunity to build a framework for long-term national and international collaborations and cooperation.
Gaganyaan program will provide us opportunities to explore new technologies. New science will emerge out of it. It will enhance our scientific and technological capabilities as more and more nations come up with the space program. One international space station may not be sufficient to meet the global aspirations of science and technology. Regional ecosystem and local needs play a great role in shaping technology development and spin-off from space program.
President Ramnath Kovind today presented the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar 2020 at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The Puraskar, instituted by the Women and Child Development Ministry to felicitate meritorious children, individuals and institutions of the country. Now, the Bal Puraskar aims at giving recognition to children who have made extraordinary achievements in various fields, including innovation, scholastic, sports, art, culture, social service and bravery. A medal and a cash prize also is given to each awardee. 22 children, 10 girls and 12 boys received the awards this year.
स्पोर्ट्स, आर्ट एंड कल्चर, ब्रेवरी के क्षेत्रों में ये पुरस्कार दिए जाते हैं। पति जी से विनम्र निवेदन करते हैं।
सारेगा सारेगा मरे मसारे निसारे निसारे गसा गनि सा धनि सा सनि धनि दपा धनि नि दपा मगा परेगा सारेगा सारेगा मरे मसारे निसारे निसारे गसा गनि सा धनि सा सनि धनि दपा नि सा गा मगा सनि सा गा मपा देवों ने जहां जन्म लिया और हमको गीता ज्ञान गगनि सनि निसारे सा सरे गरे रे ग म प म ग रे सनि धनि द प देवों ने जहां जन्म लिया और हमको गीता ज्ञान दिया.
And the CBI has filed 4 new cases against underworld don Chota Rajan and his associates under the sections of murder, attempt to murder, extortion and criminal conspiracy. CBI has taken over the Maharashtra police case after the DOPT transferred the case to the CBI. He is currently lodged in Delhi's Tihar jail. Rajan, once a close confidant turned rival of the underworld gang lord Dawood Ibrahim, who is also the prime accused in the 1993 Mumbai serial blasts case. Now, Rajan was arrested on a red corner notice by Interpol after eluding law enforcement agencies for over 2 decades. Well, the Prime Minister will be chairing the 32nd interaction through Pragati. That's the ICT-based multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation. In his previous Pragati interactions, the Prime Minister had reviewed projects worth over 12 lakh crore rupees. In the last Pragati meeting, in fact, which was in 2019, 9 projects worth over 61,000 crore rupees, which related to 16 states and union territories of Jammu and Kashmir as well, were taken up for discussion. There were discussions on the grievances of Indian citizens working abroad, the National Agriculture Market, the Aspirational District Program, and the infrastructure development programs and initiatives. Now, it's been nearly 4 years, 4.5 years in fact, since the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana was launched, and during this period millions have benefited. They're owning a house now. So the central government has set a target of providing housing for all in urban areas by 2022, which is likely to be completed in advance, says the minister. Here's a report.
The centre's ambitious project Awas Yojana started on the 1st of June 2015. Lakhs of people across the country have already benefited from the Prime Minister's Awas Yojana, both in urban and rural areas of the country. The centre had sanctioned construction of 81 lakh houses under the Urban Housing Scheme till the announcement of the 2019-20 budget, out of which construction of 26 lakh houses was completed and over 24 lakh beneficiaries were allotted. In the previous year, more than 103 lakh houses were approved under the PM Awas Yojana Urban, and 32 lakh houses were constructed, and the number of allotments to beneficiaries had climbed to 28 lakh 48,000. Over 15 lakh houses, which are built under the PMAY, are equipped with state-of-the-art technologies. National Urban Housing Fund of 60,000 crore rupees was set up for raising extra budgetary resources in phases for the rapid implementation of PM Awas Yojana Urban. Union Housing Affairs Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that with the construction proceeding on a war footing, the deadline will be achieved by 2020 against the earlier set deadline of 2022. With Kajal Rai, Bureau Report, DD News.
The Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has come in as a boon to lakhs of women of Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. They are also being given training in its safe operation. Let's take a look at this ground report.
Lakhs of women residing in Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra have benefited from the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana and are cherishing their experience of cooking on LPG gas stove. This helped them to get rid of conventional chulha and the smoke generated from them.
Previously, I had to use wood, cow dung, kerosene for cooking food, which generated a lot of smoke in my house and caused irritation in my eyes. This method of cooking on traditional chulhas was tedious and time consuming also. But Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana has benefited us as cooking on LPG gas has reduced pollution. Now I'm able to give tiffin to my children on time and they reach school on time. I'm able to complete my house chores fast. I'm thankful to Prime Minister for the scheme.
Earlier, the women of the house sat cooking and coughing their lungs out in a murky, stifling kitchen, which used to affect not only them but entire family. Now they have got a sigh of relief as they own a cooking gas.
I and my family are thankful to Prime Minister Narendra Modi for Ujjwala Yojana, which has helped women in rural areas and gave us smokeless cooking experience. The scheme has not only benefited me but helped my family too. Our medical expenses have also been reduced due to cooking on smokeless LPG gas.
Nearly 3,500 gas connections have been provided by the gas company in Sri Rampur city of Ahmednagar district. In order to avail benefits of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme, women of the village have to apply to the nearest gas company, giving details of Jan Dhan account along with photo identification card. The gas distribution companies are also giving safety training lessons as well. The scheme thus ensured the overall safety and comfort of women. Bureau Report, DD News.
And now let's take a look at what's making news across the world. The Russian President Vladimir Putin approved a new government, bringing in some new faces, but retaining many of the senior ministers. The new government includes a new economy minister and a new first deputy prime minister. But the finance, foreign, defense, energy and agriculture ministers remain the same. So the new government was formed less than a week after Putin unveiled a sweeping constitutional reform which led to the resignation of Dmitry Medvedev as prime minister along with his entire government. Putin said that the government of the new prime minister Mikhail Mishustin should focus on boosting Russia's economy and improving living standards. Putin has also put forward a set of plans for better economic growth and improved living standards, including a series of national projects and increased payouts to families. The Republican-controlled U.S. Senate voted today on party lines to approve the rules for the U.S. President Donald Trump's impeachment trial, rejecting the Democratic efforts to obtain evidence as well as to ensure witnesses are heard. Now, after the U.S. Chief Justice John Roberts convened the proceedings yesterday, the two sides began more than 12 hours of squabbling that lasted into today morning over the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's proposed rules for the trial. Senators voted along party lines 53 to 47 to block the four separate motions from the Democratic leader Chuck Schumer to subpoena records as well as documents from the White House, the State Department, the Defense Department, the Office of the Management, as well as budget and related Trump dealings with Ukraine. So let's now get you news from the world of sports. And talking us through that is Anil Thomas.
Well, thank you, Mark. First up, Khelo India and the final day of Khelo India Youth Games. The closing ceremony of the third edition of the Khelo India Youth Games will be held today in Guwahati. The closing ceremony will begin at around 6 p.m. with Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal as the chief guest and will be accompanied by the Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju. The event will witness celebrities from Bollywood and Assam and a group from China that will perform Chinese martial arts. The officials are making arrangements for erecting a giant LED screen for youngsters to have a chance to experience a stadium-like experience waiting outside. And Narayan Singh, our correspondent there, joining us from Guwahati. Narayan, paucity of time, a quick update. What are the medals at stake today?
Right now, Anil, there are 44 medals at stake in here in the Khelo India Youth Games, and we are right now at the badminton stadium where the 4 states won gold medal. Haryana in doubles and Tamil Nadu also won medal. Apart from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Maharashtra also won medal here. And right now Maharashtra is the top, and now in all likelihood they will top the medal tally like the last year, followed by Haryana and Delhi. And we can say that now the closing ceremony of the games will take place at 6 p.m. at the Haru Hazard Sports Complex in Guwahati. And as said by the officials, the closing ceremony of the games will be as grand as the opening ceremony. It will be like to make the Indian sports at the next platform.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us with those updates there from Guwahati. Moving ahead, defending champion onto Australian Open. Defending champion Naomi Osaka put up an angry outburst behind her to reach the Australian Open last 32. Japanese third seed Osaka beat Sai Zheng 6-2, 6-4 to set up a potential third round meeting with teenager Coca Gauff, who won against Sorina Krista in a 3-set thriller. World number 1 Ashley Barty showed no signs of buckling under pressure as the hometown favourite, securing a spot in the Australian Open third round with a comprehensive straight sets win over Slovenia's Polona Hercog. Bharti secured 3 breaks of serve to seal the match 6-1, 6-4 on the Rod Laver Arena. Caroline Wozniacki recovered from going 5-1 down in the opening set to win 7-5, 7-5 to put off her impending retirement for at least another match. The 2018 champion won 6 games in a row to clinch the opening set and also went 3-0 down in the second before mounting a comeback against Ukraine's 23rd seed Diana Yastramenska. Meanwhile, Czech 7th seed Petra Kvitova, who was beaten by Osaka in last year's final, progressed with a 7-5, 7-5 victory over Spain's Paula Badosa. Ace Indian shooters Apurvi Chandela and Divyansh Singh Panwar made the nation proud by winning a gold medal each at the ongoing Meetin Cup International Shooting Championship in Austria. Apurvi bagged the top honours in the women's 10-meter air rifle event with a final score of 251.4. Meanwhile, fellow Indian shooter Anjum Mudgal settled for bronze with a final score of 229 in the same event. In the men's section, Divyansh got a chance to lay his hands on the gold medal in the men's 10-meter air rifle category. The target Olympic podium scheme athlete bagged a gold with a final score of 249.7. India's Deepak Kumar also won a bronze in the same event with a final score of 228. 2014 Commonwealth Games gold medalist Apurvi Chandela, veteran Anjum Mudgal, young Divyansh Singh Panwar and Deepak Kumar, all 4 shooters who got medals have already qualified or secured a place for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Well, that's all we have time for. Back to Mark.
Yes, indeed. And that's all we have time for in Midday Prime today. Thank you very much for being with us. Namaskar.